Dr. Smith, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me and my friends this opportunity to come together. Whereas some of us have kept in contact, like Dr. Jagan and me have been in contact ever since we were DM students. While Mohan Lal being in spite of being a very close friend of mine, I haven't met him after leaving Chandigarh. So this virtual meeting with Mohan Lal makes it worth the while for me, particular session. The PGI training certainly brought people from different parts of the country together. Like I came from Kerala, Dr. Jaganmohan, even though he's from Kerala, he came from Pune. Diwakar, of course, was a local PGI person, so was Kler. Mohan Lal was also from PGI. Dr. Girija is my classmate from Trivandrum. So we all came together, and Dr. Gurpreet from Patiala, and Dr. Raman, who is from Tamil Nadu. Those days we had two different entry points, first in January and then in July. So Dr. Jagan, Raman and Gurpreet were from the January batch, while myself, Girija, Diwakar, Kler and Mohan Lal were from the July batch. We gelled together very well and had a wonderful time. We had outstanding teachers. Professor Wahi was the head of the department, Professor Vidwai as the professor of pediatric cardiology, Dr. Khatri, Dr. Inder Singh Anand, and Dr. Sapru, I hope he may be listening to us, were our consultants. While maintaining an excellent relationship with all the consultants, I must confess that Professor Vidwai impacted my thinking most and was eventually responsible for the year that I chose into pediatric cardiology. After I left PGI and taught in the medical colleges of Kerala for the next few years of my life, I went to Abu Dhabi, sort of started swimming from the deep end of the pool in pediatric cardiology. And the teaching of Professor Vidwai and my teacher, Dr. Vijayaraghavan in Trivandrum, stood me in good stead in initiating me into the subject at a time when the subject was just evolving. I was fortunate to come into contact with some of the world's giants in pediatric cardiology and cardiac surgery during that period, and also during my stay in Cleveland. And that has helped me to consolidate my learning of pediatric cardiology and adult congenital heart disease as we practice today. As you said, this is not an occasion to recall academics alone. As far as the academic part is concerned, I've already spoken in this forum earlier on adult congenital heart disease. But we have a wonderful company. Each one of the classmates that I have had, they have made a mark in the world of pediatric cardiology, in the world of cardiology. And we would like to listen to each one of them. I hope some of the youngsters are also watching this program, so that what we went through the eyes of different people would be quite enlightening to them. Many things that you took for granted, you take for granted today, just didn't exist. For instance, in PGI, in 1981 to 83 period, we did not have coronary angiography. We had a cath lab, which was a cut film exchanger. So Dr. Jagan and me have looked at our films in our hand. It is supposed to move at 12 per second. We are lucky if it moves at 6. More often it moves at 3. So we started from there. And today, when you see digitally with the degree of magnification and the manipulation that you can do on the image, it's incredible. And we did not have 2D echocardiography. Whereas we had 2D echocardiography in Trivandrum before I left Trivandrum. When I joined Chandigarh, we had only M-mode echocardiography. So today it's difficult for you to imagine that we could make reports from M-mode echocardiograms. We had things like our non-invasive labs where we very dutifully looked at the carotid pulse trace. We had the apex cardiogram. It was an intellectually stimulating thing, even though by the time we passed out, this had passed into the archives of cardiology. Interventional cardiology was confined to balloon septrostomy. And about today, when arterial switch is taken for granted with a good outcome, we wonder what happened to the babies that we did balloon septrostomy. Perhaps we postponed their death from the neonatal period to a few months later, because very few people did senning, and nobody did arterial switch in those days. But we dutifully did our balloon septrostomies through femoral vein cut down. We did not have a mechanism to puncture the femoral vein. We did it through femoral vein cut down. And in fact, even in older children and adults, we did our cap through saphenous vein cut down. I suppose even today I'll be able to do a saphenous vein cut down in the groin. It is Dr. Jagan who initiated me into it, being 6 months senior to me in the cath lab. So from those days, having come to a time when a primary angioplasty is the hallmark for an adult cardiology department, and interventional pediatric cardiology and cutting-edge cardiac surgery is the hallmark of pediatric cardiology and adult congenital heart disease, it has been a long journey. We have learned and grown with the specialty as it evolved. And it is in this journey that all these wonderful people who have assembled here have been my friends. And I shouldn't be talking more. I've been talking more of history. Shall I invite Dr. Jaganmohan to be the next speaker? Dr. Jaganmohan has retired as the director of Sri Chitradirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology in Trivandrum. He has been an iconic teacher in cardiology, examiner all over the country. And shall we welcome Dr. Jaganmohan to this meeting?
Allow us to play his video first, sir, and then we'll.
You're showing Diwakar Jain?
I think, sir, we'll let them play.
Yeah, that's fine. Then we'll. Yeah. I hope Diwakar is here.
I could not contact him, sir.
Oh, okay.
Tried all means, but I couldn't.
I'll just make a comment on Dr. Diwakar Jain. Dr. Jain, me and Kler were, along with Dr. Girija and Mohan Lal, we were the July batch of 1981. Diwakar was a very bright student. Unfortunately, we lost contact with him after DM, and I'm glad to know the pursuit of his career. It's a pity that he is unable to join us today. With that, I think we'll move on to Dr. Jaganmohan A Thakaran.
Yes, sir, please. Tech team, can we play Dr. Jaganmohan's video?
Jagan?
Yeah, thank you, Suresh, for the introduction you already given. And of course, thanks to Dr. Smith and Dr. Ajay Swami. Thanks to the PGI Cardio Alumni Association and their team for this opportunity to virtually meet with all our senior and junior colleagues and friends, of course. I'm extremely excited and I look forward to an enjoyable interaction with all of you who have taken time out of your busy schedule to be with us this evening. My stay in PGI during 81-82 was actually a very crucial period in my life, which helped me to take up cardiology as a specialty. At a time when exciting modern diagnostic and imaging tools, as well as therapeutic interventions, were just slowly but surely taking firm root in the world over, though India was a bit behind. The training at PGI then was largely clinical, basic non-invasive and invasive diagnostic procedures, and as Suresh said, alone septostomies for neonates and infants. The work schedule was not very terribly hectic, and we did find a lot of time to enjoy reading cardiology. Needless to reiterate, we had excellent and committed teachers, revered for their total commitment to teaching, training, and patient care. Professor Wahi, an astute and highly respected clinician teacher, was the head of the department. A tough taskmaster, was looked upon with awe by all fellows. He had a kind heart behind those tough posturings anyway. He actually offered me the post DM senior resident post, knowing that I was educated and qualified but unemployed by when I was leaving PGI. And so I will always be grateful and indebted to him. Very great person. Professor Bidwai, fatherly figure for all of us, master clinician and teacher. He effortlessly unraveled all the mysteries of congenital heart disease, and all of us look forward to the weekly pediatric cardiology clinic at the institute for some exciting clinical learning experience. We always felt free to approach him for all the academic and personal issues. Professor Sapru, a great scientist researcher, was instrumental in stimulating me to pursue DM cardiology. When I worked under him at the Sri Chitra Institute in Trivandrum in 1979-1980, and the training under him certainly helped me to get through the DM entrance examination at the PGA. He continues to reply to my season's greetings, always with a few kind words. I will always be indebted to you, sir. Thank you. Dr. Khatri, Professor Khatri was a master teacher, and all the MD fellows would flock to his clinic for his bedside classes. He was very strict, very kind and loving at heart. So he was. No DM fellow can ever forget him or his clinics. Professor Inder Singh Anand was a master teacher researcher who added light and color to the department with his unassuming and friendly approach to the fellows. He's now an authority on heart failure, probably settled in the United States. He actually visited us at Trivandrum a decade back, and we had a wonderful academic session on heart failure one evening. We, the 1981 batch of DM residents, was blessed with the best of teachers as faculty, and a lot of what we are today can be attributed to them who inculcated humanness and medical ethics to our clinical practice. A couple of minutes referring to my colleagues, Dr. Raman and Dr. Gurpreet Singh Sidhu. I was blessed to have these two wonderful persons who always and readily helped me for all my needs throughout my DM training program. I couldn't have asked for any better friends in those very difficult days. Dr. Raman, a great friend, always ready to help, very intelligent, focused, and hardworking, had his goals set and well defined. He moved to Oman after a couple of years in government service in Oman. He started a cardiology specialty hospital there, which presently is one of the best equipped cardiology specialty hospitals in the non-governmental sector in Oman. A great achievement indeed. Dr. Gurpreet Singh, very silent, unassuming, very knowledgeable, always extended a helping hand to me when I was in need. He moved to Patiala and set up a modern cardiac facility in Patiala in the service of the people there. One of my junior cardiology colleagues, as I said, worked in his hospital and was all praise for him. See, that's the credit that one has. I meet him occasionally at the CSI conference and exchange pleasantries. Thanks, Gurpreet.
So microphone or...
Am I not audible?
Sir, you are audible.
You are.
Okay, sorry. In July 1980, the July 1981 batch had many stalwarts. Dr. Kler, pioneer in device implants and cardiac electrophysiology. Dr. Suresh Kumar, eminent and renowned pediatric cardiologist and a very dear friend to me. Dr. Girija, who pursued her passion as a clinical cardiologist, retiring as professor and head the Trichure Medical College. And of course, my dear friend, Dr. Mohan Lal, very simple, unassuming, and a thorough gentleman. He was lean and tall. Maybe that was the reason I liked him very much as a great friend. Of course, Dr. Diwakar Jain, he was very intelligent, but we did not really know where he was going after his DM. That's now I got updated with his great achievements in nuclear cardiology. Thanks once again to the PGI Cardiology Alumni Association for all the good things, including a memento and shawl of honor and appreciation that I feel deeply honored for all that. Thanks for your precious time and my best wishes to all of you in your professional and personal career. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jagan. It was nice to hear the snippets of our different experiences during that time. I see that Kler is also there. Kler, welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was a little stuck up with the technical.
No problem, Kler.
You're a very busy
Nice
man.
to see you. Nice to see you.
Technical glitch. You know, I am ultimately Sardar from Punjab and I don't understand these computers.
I have something good to share, sir. Today morning, I talked to Dr. Sapru, and I have invited him to the India Live alumni dinner. So we have a dinner on 16th March, sir, at India Live for our PGA alumni group.
Oh, nice.
He has agreed to come there, and Dr. Sharat Chandra has taken responsibility to bring him there.
Very good.
We will have an opportunity to meet him. I have never met him in my life, so probably
Oh, really? You haven't met Dr. Sapru? Okay. You should
Then
certainly
there is
use it.
something.
Yeah, he has been in Chandigarh. He has been in Chandigarh since he
Yeah,
retired.
yeah, I know. And when
So
So
I think
I'm sorry I couldn't hear the first 15, 20 minutes, and it's a great pleasure and fantastic feeling to be with all of you. And our seniors like Jaganmohan and Raman and Gurpreet, they were our seniors, and rest of the people are my batchmates: Suresh, Girija, Diwakar, Mohan Lal. And I just want to share with one thing that PGI Cardiology, when we joined, was dominated by Kerala group. No, believe me, Samit, you know, uh, out of 12 candidates at that time, my juniors and junior combined, 7 people were from Kerala. And this was the first time that 2 people from Punjab could get into cardiology, me and Diwakar Jain. Of course, Mohan Lal is from Jammu and Jammu Kashmir, and Suresh and Girija, were from Kerala. So Kerala had any time supremacy in the department of cardiology. Not only cardiology, actually, in PGI. One good thing about PGI was that it was a true impartial institution, and only thing which mattered was merit. No politics. Actually, during our time, there was not even a reservation of any kind. But only thing which mattered was merit. And in merit, then certainly we had a lot of difficulty to compete with our South Indian friends, especially from Kerala. Well, it was great pleasure to be part of that group, and at least I am lucky that I have been able to keep contact with most of the people here in this group today. Not only this group, but even starting from Somaraju onward, some or the other, I have been in touch with most of the people try to meet whenever the opportunity comes. I met Girija. She came to my house in Delhi. Suresh has been little difficult to catch. Most of the times he kind of tries to be along the sheikhs of Middle East rather than poor people from India. So I think I will not take too much of time. I will thank Sumit and Ajay for this wonderful initiative to get connected all of us, and please carry on the proceedings.
What I will tell you is about the Jagan when we joined, all 3 of us. By that time, we started going to the cath lab. Jagan and Raman, they had already done the right heart catheterizations. Okay, Jagan. Then, in fact, when Professor Sapru came back to PGI, right, and immediately the electrophysiology program started. So what I am trying to share with you is that in the later part of 1981 and early 82, electrophysiology studies, they were started, and in our Friday meetings, we would be invariably discussing those findings, so that's, and then slowly by the time we had to appear for it, Joseph's son had become a part of our, curriculum that we had to know about this thing. So I think so Jagan was too good at that time, even at this thing from that time. So in fact, there were some fields where we were quite ahead of others, like at that time, All India Institute or GB Pant, right? They were doing it. But in this field, we were ahead of this thing. And then as Suresh was saying about 2D echocardiography, I remember a machine had come, that huge one, that was from Italy, which came, I think, by the time we were about to appear for our DM cardiology. And in those times, Braunwald's first edition came. Am I right? That was the time when Braunwald book came for the first time. And so that was the phase of our cardiology that we went through.
And I would say the first edition of the Journal of American College of Cardiology came during that time.
Yes.
The first edition was published during that time.
It's split from American Heart Journal, I think. At that time.
Yes. I think, shall we have Dr. Gurpreet's video?
Yes, sir. And Dr. Kler, you would not miss the first 15 minutes. We have recorded it, and it would be uploaded in a day or two on our YouTube channel. And even you can access previous years and previous such events also, sir, with Dr. Somaraju in the first episode. Dr. Swami has also come. So from
Dr. Kler is the senior most. I think he has been in PGI from 1977 as a pre-MD house surgeon or something. I think, isn't it?
You are right. You know, I joined.
Yes, and 3 years as post MD registrar, a senior registrar in. Then only came to cardiology.
Right.
So it is very helpful for me to show me my way around in Kler.
Yes, I think he's the senior most amongst us, real PGI.
Tech team to play Dr. Sidhu Sandhu's video, please.
Gurpreet, would you like to add something more?
Yeah. In fact, cardiology department in PGI impacted me in so many aspects of life, and which I would like to share it with you. When I was in a medical college, the dynamics of running a cardiology department from Professor Y, I picked up some threads, which we continued. His usual style of having a pencil in his pocket and taking out a paper and writing everything, that used to be. So when we used to go for a teaching of MBBS students, which is a better one, this, so that carried on like this. Then when I went in for my entrepreneurial journey of establishing a cardiac center, how it went was, we had to buy for a cath lab, how to negotiate. We were all the time. Hi. Hello.
Yeah,
you're audible. You're audible.
Yeah. Then while with this thing, at that time, our cath lab used to be of Siemens. I remember during our cath lab duty, if the machine would become erratic, so one of my duties being a local guy was that I will go to the engineer's house early morning at 8 a.m. Maybe Jagan remembers it. Then Mr. Bhogal used to be there and catch him, make him sit on the scooter and bring him onto the cath lab. Please make it operative. So all those things that we learned, then finally, that since it was a Siemens cath lab, so we opted for a Siemens only, which we are continuing till now, right? So those type of aspects, but what I feel is academics, PJ inculcates us in a very good way, right? I wish that there could be other aspects of the training which could be incorporated. Maybe Dr. Smit does it now for his medical college. That is, making a doctor or a student understand the dynamics of the economics of the medical practice. And moreover, what are the other ways in which how we get impacted. Now, Professor,
are you able to hear Gurpreet, or is
No, sir. I think he got off.
I think his connection may be a little
connection must have.
unstable.
I'll give him a call, sir.
Yeah. Shall we go with Dr. Kler's video in the meanwhile?
Yes, sir. That would be great, sir, because we'll.
Would you ask the tech team?
Yeah. So, Dr. Kler's video, please. Hello, Kler. Thank you for all the good time that we had together. Thank you for taking me to your house and giving me dinner time to time. And special thanks to Neelam on that count. I hope she's doing well. Sir, unmute, please.
She's fine, and actually, we are attending a marriage in Kolkata right now, and I just disappeared from that marriage, and she called me, where you are? Always you slip out of these meetings, these marriages. Anyway, it is, our batch, 5 of us, and senior Gurpreet and Suresh and Jaganmohan, great people. I think, to be honest with you, I learned a lot from all of these people. Diwakar should have been in this meeting. I don't know why he's not in the meeting. But Suresh and Diwakar, I would rate them highly intelligent people, both of them. And whenever I am in doubt, then I'll ask one of them that what the hell it is happening. And overall, the PGI was a great institution. I believe still is an institution. And you have to believe me one thing, that I don't go to any temple, gurdwara or church to worship. I don't believe in that. But whenever I go to PGI, I salute that land, I worship that land. मैं मत्था टेकता हूँ PGI की ज़मीन पे जब भी जाता हूँ, because I think whatever I am today, just because of PGI and my colleagues in PGI. PGI must change my whole thinking from Medical College Patiala to PGI. When we were in Patiala, we thought we are the best medical college in the whole world. That is the pseudo confidence we were given, that there's no better college in the whole world than Patiala Medical College. So then I was posted in the chest department, and in 15 days I realized that I'm the biggest duffer in the world. I don't know anything at all. I kind of initially a depression set in on my mind, and you started working from 8 a.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. in the night. I couldn't unpack my luggage for 15 or 20 days. That was the kind of work in PGI. The just 7th day of my entry, or 8th day, Dr. G.K. Khatri was registrar. So I presented a case. He said, I said, this looks like tuberculosis. He said, did you go and check the sputum? I said, no. He said, go and see the histology. So I went to see the histology, and to me it looked like all stars in the sky. I had no idea what the gene Nielsen staining is all about. So that was the kind of psyche in PGI. And PGI, the first thing I realized was that it didn't matter what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of background you came from. But if you have missed spleen on that patient, then you will not have a comfortable life. Then everybody will intimidate you that this idiot even doesn't know how to palpate a spleen. So that was the kind of feeling, psyche which we developed in PGI. PGI had an environment of expression. You could challenge your teachers. I had fights with many of them, including Dr. Wahi. So I don't know, I have a lot of nostalgic feeling about PGI Chandigarh. It was my good luck or bad luck, I don't know what to say, that when I did my DM cardiology, there was no post in the Department of Cardiology, and that time either PGI Chandigarh or any institute were the only two places in North India where a DM cardiology could have been registered. So I had to leave that beautiful institution and a beautiful city, and many times I still repent that.
Thank you, Kler. That was a very interesting recollection. I would also say one thing, the exam that we had, when we took the DM exam, I don't know whether today that morning till late night exams are still being held for DM. Do our students take it? Like we went to the exam hall at 8 o'clock and came out at maybe 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And so I had a very, very tumultuous examination in that my patient died. See, my third case was an elderly gentleman with episodic mitral regurgitation and pulmonary edema. So I had seen the patient, I had worked up for presentation. Then in front of me, the patient arrested. I was resuscitating the patient to no avail. Eventually, the patient died. And this was after 6 p.m. I've been in the exam hall since 8 a.m. And a case was given to me after 8 p.m. to work up new, which I presented, and I thought I did well. But I had a very interesting Viva session. The chief of cardiology in All India Institute, I forget his name, maybe Kler.
Dr. M.L. Bhatia.
M.L. Bhatia, yes.
How can you forget that name? It's not possible.
No. It is just the Alzheimer's setting in Kler. Not that I forget Bhatia. I thought the exam had gone on well. They called us to announce the exam result. I was called in first. I was surprised why I was called in first, because my serial number was the last. They being Suresh, the S would come last. I had drawn law test number 1 for the cases. Maybe that was the reason why I was selected. Dr. Bhatia is not looking at my face. He is looking at a paper and telling me that, you have failed. You have done very badly in the exam. I can't imagine what you were doing in the last 2 years. At that time, Professor Wahi was speaking on the phone. Dr. Anand was there in the room and he was looking somewhere else. I think somewhere, Dr. Anand got the clue that I was about to have a syncope. Then Anand looked at me, looked at Dr. Bhatia's face and told him, Dr. Saab, ye to Dr. Suresh hai. Without changing his expression, Dr. Bhatia shook hands with me. Oh, Dr. Suresh Kumar, you have done very well. So this was like a last ball win in a T20 which is going on. I thought that I had lost. And after all, in the exam, see, like with my patient dying, I don't know how my examiners would look at me. I was not responsible for the death of my patient, but it's a fact that the patient died. So this type of study, exam, and experience in those days.
So Suresh, I'll just add here that when the DM exam was occurring that time, and when the what happened?
So you are audible, sir. Visible and audible.
Okay. So the exam was happening, and I told Mohan Lal, I said, look, Mohan, these, we used to call in a very joking manner all the people from Kerala as Kalus. I said, these 2 Kalus, Girija and Suresh, they are going to pass anyway. And Diwakar is too intelligent, he will pass. So we are both going to fail. So when they called me inside, Dr. Bhatia never gave any smile in the whole exam, I tell you. Well, it was pity that I couldn't see any smile on his face. And I thought, well, I am going to repeat the exam anyway. So he tells me, say, Dr. Saab, this thing was not right, this thing was not right. So he continued. I said he's going to declare soon. So he said, anyway, with a lot of, I think, pinch of salt in his voice, he said, anyway, you have cleared the examination. So that was the kind of experience I have from Dr. Bhatia. Later on, I must tell you that Dr. Bhatia joined Scott Heart Institute. He was already at Scott Heart Institute when I joined, and we worked together for many, many years. And then he started liking me.
In our batch, Jagan, you remember, Bhatia was supposed to be the examiner, but somehow some hitch happened. He didn't come. So we heaved a sigh of relief. Then Dr. Gupta came from GV Pant. I think for earlier batch, senior batch to us, and then for Dr. Kler and Dr. Suresh batch, Bhatia was external. But for us, it was Dr. Gupta from GV Pant and Dr. Gandhi from Bombay.
Dr. Gandhi and Dr. Gupta both were considered very good examiners. But Dr. Bhatia was kind of tagged that no, he's not going to pass you anyway. So it was very difficult to clear exam with the doctor.
No, he passed on the legacy to Wazir also, no, further.
So then Dr. Smit Srivastava was another lady who will enjoy failing people.
Yeah.
Like you had with Dr. Sautri Srivastava. Later, I had a very nice relationship as being pediatric cardiology people. We have had some exams together for a fellowship of National Board, both for entry and exit. I developed a very respectful relationship with her much later on. Can we invite Dr. Girija?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Dr. Girija? Dr. Girija is my classmate from MBBS days onwards, my good friend. In fact, I knew her family even before we were classmates. Dr. Girija's younger brother, who is a very distinguished scientist in the US. Any day he might get the Nobel Prize, we would think. I've known the family very well. And Dr. Girija, as a woman in cardiology, she has pursued a career of passion. And as Dr. Jagan referred, she taught in both Trivandrum and Trichur medical colleges. And she has been a very favored teacher. We should see Dr. Girija's video.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Girija.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Suresh, for the words of kind introduction. I have very fond memories of PGI, right from the interview day in May 1981, when we were welcomed in PGI for a big hailstorm. Then I always
the first
remember.
In our lives.
Yeah, in our lives, yeah. That was the beginning, actually. Then we had all the rounds which Dr. Wahi used to take around 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. Our reward rounds used to be, our work used to be from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10:30 at night. So he comes every day around 6:30 with a notepad and a pencil. And it was very, very interesting to note that, he'll note down all that is to be done for the day in that. And Dr. Bidwai's work about pediatric cardiology, many of the days we have done a lot of atrial septostomies at night, basically. But so that was very interesting. And all his lectures were very interesting. Dr. Khatri's very excellent classes. Dr. Sapru's classes. And Dr. Anand used to teach us, even at that time, more about cardiac failure than anything else. And I used to wonder, he always start speaking in Hindi and used to end up in Punjabi. So that many of the time, I never used to understand what he is saying. One day I had to tell him that, you have to either speak in Hindi or in English so that I can follow him. Then those were very excellent days in PGI. Then I also remember most of the get-togethers we had after especially the ones after the exams. And very nice time in PGI. It is a really memorable time in PGI. Personally, also, very interesting because I had to travel all the way from Trivandrum to Chandigarh many times during that year. I delivered a child during my career. And then these were very interesting. Looking after the kids and bringing them up was part of the game. So I always feel that, the PGI has shaped us into this, whatever we are. And all of us are in close contact, except Dr. Diwakar and Mohan Lal were not really in close contact with any one of us. I had met Suresh, Jagan, Kler. Jagan was actually in the cath lab senior to us. So he has guided many of the cath lab procedures at that time. So it has been very interesting all throughout the PGI. So I have a feeling that, it's a very nice thing that we could see each other, talk to each other today. And I thank Dr. Smith for arranging this today. And then for everybody else for their kind participation. And I thank everyone for the kind words.
It was very nice, Girija, to come to my house on our visit to Delhi. So we had a good time with Girija also.
Yeah, I know. I remember your hospitality on that day, your and Neelam.
I would also recall in the Bombay CSI meeting, literally bumping into Girija. In that I was turning a corner, I bumped into somebody, and who could it be? It was Girija. Yeah, a few years ago, in the Bombay CSI meeting. I don't think she heard.
Yeah, I heard. I remember
Okay.
that. I remember that. Okay. I thought you have not really completed that and you're going to say something more. Okay.
Amit, I've got something to share. All along the CSI, while we were talking about, it has been a PGI, All India Institute, and GV Pant. They were the institutes which were producing DMs at that time. Some of the other CSI has always been in the control of Calcutta, right? I think so. It's a high time that our institutes, they also contribute to the hierarchy and the administrative part of that. So that will see some changes coming in, right?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Sir, you'll be glad to know, sir, this time, Dr. Bali, myself, Dr. Hajra, they all are in CSI executive body or they're holding some post. Dr. Swami has been there and done that. So I think Dr. Swami can tell us who else are there in. So please unmute yourself then.
I mean, my stories are all 20 years old, so I'm just listening to our torch bearers in awe and respect. I mean, they say that we are all pygmies standing on the shoulders of giants, and it's truly wonderful to see how the discipline of cardiology has evolved over the last 35, 40 years. And it is such a wonderful thing to be part of an institute which has actually driven the growth of cardiology in modern India. In some ways, the story of PGI is the story of modern medicine and modern cardiology in our part of the world. And it's wonderful to bear the torch of tradition and watch. I mean, people speak about women power and all, but think about somebody who 30 years ago has been actually doing a super specialty when very few women were in medicine, actually, leave alone super specialty is quite awesome. And all the people whom we heard today speak are, pillars of their particular parts of the world. And the fount was PGI. It's such a wonderful thing to be part of such a great tradition. And more power to Smith for having bound us all together and making us realize, where we all come from. It is said that you should never lose touch with your roots. And I'm in Delhi in a conference. In fact, he's also in the same conference. And I was just finishing moderating some session. And I realized that in the hall, not only was the head of department cardiology of PGI sitting, there were about maybe 25 more, PGIites in the hall. I was just counting in my mind. And I was marveling at how wonderful that institute, which has kind of trained so many of us, and how much we all owe to that beautiful building of PGIMER.
Yeah, I was hopeful that we'll be having dinner at Dr. Kler's place today.
But he's on to Calcutta, I see.
After hearing, almost everyone today
having dinner with Kler.
They said that we had a great time at Dr. Kler's place. Great dinner. So
Maybe he knew we were coming.
I had a lunch also. I had a lunch also in the last time.
So then we'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner at his place.
Yeah.
We have to figure out when he's coming back, actually.
Now he's cancelling his ticket back to Delhi.
So let's have Mohan Lal. Mohan Lal,
Yeah, you should have Mohan Lal.
please. We are waiting for you.
Tech team, please, Dr. Mohan Lal's video.
That's very nice, Mohan Lal.
Thank you, Suresh, for anchoring everything. And I'm very thankful to Dr. Smith and Dr. Swami for giving us this opportunity to meet, at least see, if not meet personally. But I have seen most of you, met you many of the occasions in CSIs. This is really very happy. I'm very happy that I have been called for this meeting, because most of the time when we are talking to each other, you are just delivering a lecture and not knowing whether you are justifying your lecture or not. It is only you who can only judge that how Dr. Mohan Lal is, how he is, or how my colleagues are there. I am really thankful to Dr. Jaganmohan, particularly because I used to follow his footsteps whenever he was senior, my senior in the DM Cardiology. And whatever he used to do, I used to see that I should also inculcate that same habit in me. Whether I am able to do it or not, I don't think I have been able to fulfill all desires which I had in my training program. I was very lucky that I've already done my MD from PGI, which was only 2 years. And then I did my DM in cardiology. When I passed my MD, I was asked by the neurologist that can you join the neurology, DM neurology? But somehow I had a passion only for cardiology. I was asked by even Dr. Chuk if we want to go for nephrology, because those 2 to 3 years I was quite active in my MD career. So when I went to Dr. Wahi that, sir, I'm trying to approach your department for joining the cardiology. He said, oh, you are very new. How can you join the cardiology now? At least you should do some registrarship in medicine. He said, have you seen my previous selections? That I have not given the direct recruitment into DM so far, unless you have done a good medicine registrarship. It's better you appear after 1 year and I will select you, because you know the previous persons are also registrars in medicines for 1 year or 2 years. So I stayed there for 1 year as a registrar, and after 1 year of registrarship, I was selected, as he promised me that he will be selecting me. So I got selected there in the. But I can guarantee you that the training which I got in my MD was much better than any training anywhere in my world. I have been to abroad for very fellowships, but the training which I got in my MD medicine has really helped me for inculcating the good things in my life, and it made me a good human beings and passionate towards the patient care. You learn so many things, clinical, as well as how to approach a patient and how to be with the patients and attendants, and soft-spoken. I may not be that soft-spoken, but you can inculcate any good habits of the PGIs from your seniors. The faculty which was there in medicine was far excellent during my time, at least I can say. And the faculty of cardiology was also up to fantastic. If you talk of Dr. Wahi, Dr. Bidwai, nobody can forget the teaching which Dr. Bidwai has given to us in pediatric cardiology. Though we were very afraid of getting a pediatric case in the DM examination, but I was pretty sure that Dr. Suresh, who is my colleague, is definitely going to be in pediatrics, because he was all the time with Dr. Bidwai. And so he has taken a very good career, and I'm very happy that he is doing very good, excellent work in India as well as abroad. My other colleagues, I am always in touch with Dr. Kler most of the time, because he's in the North India. And in fact, when I finished my DM training, all of us, myself, Dr. Kler, and Dr. Diwakar, all of us were free. So we together went to Delhi. And there was a lady, Dr. National Heart Institute, Dr. Padmavati. So she called us for an interview, and she said, I'm interested to take 6 junior cardiologists in my hospital, because she was upgrading the National Heart Institute at that time. So all of us 3 were selected: Dr. Kler, Dr. Mohan Lal, Dr. Diwakar Jain. But the moment we came back to our hotel, there was an interview going on for Saudi Arabia. And all of 3, we went in the night and got interview, and all the 3 were selected in interview of that. And we said, okay, there's no need for going to the National Heart Institute or PGI or anything. It is better to go for money or something, you can say, at this time now. So all of us, we went together to Saudi Arabia as a cardiologist. In fact, I was the chief cardiologist in one of the very tertiary care hospital, and I remember those memories, which I cannot forget, because you got some money over there also, and got some professional satisfaction also over there. So not much of work because we have done plenty of work in the PGI. So for us, there was no work in almost in the Saudi Arabia, and we were getting a lot of money. So that was my turning point of my career, because I had no money with me in my pocket, and I got some money from Saudi Arabia and came back to India. Then I was selected as a lecturer in medical college. I was selected as a assistant professor in GIPMER Pondicherry. I was selected in assistant professor in Lady Hardinge Medical College. There were 3 institutes where I was selected at one time. But I had a passion to come to my home in Jammu, and I was selected as a lecturer. And slowly, with the passage of time, I became head of department also. During this time, we already had a cath lab in medical college. And Dr. Kler was in the Delhi. So we started doing some cath work and right heart catheterization, left heart catheterization. And then for first angioplasty, which we did it in medical college, I called Dr. Kler to do it. I'm thankful to Dr. Kler for starting our PTCA angioplasty in medical college, Jammu. And then, of course, pacemaker and other things were very routine procedure. I remained as a HOD for 8 years in my medical college. During this time, I had a fellowship program from Leeds for about 2 years. And then I had a fellowship program from, I went to Escort Hospital for about 6 months for another invasive training of the intervention cardiology. And then we did the angioplasties and other things. But the PGI has taught us everything. Whatever I am today, we are today, I must owe everything to PGI, because the training which we got from our senior doctors was par excellence, and they have given us a lot many things to remembering the Dr. Bidwai and Dr. Khatri. At that time, maybe that we were very much afraid of these Bidwais and Dr. Khatri, but later on, we really realized the clinical acumen which they have had to diagnose the patients at that time has taught us certain things which has definitely helped us in our future. And the bedside with Dr. Khatri was par excellence. Everybody would like to attend that and at least come out with 1 or 2 things to learn in the future life to come. There are many, Dr. Girija, I'm so thankful that I have seen you after a very long time, but I always try to see whenever I go to CSI, whether I could see you somewhere or other. But I always know that you are hale and hearty and doing very good. And of course, Dr. Jaganmohan, I'm always in touch, whether he is in touch or not, but I always keep a track of him. And I always love to talk to him most of the time. My senior doctors, Dr. Sidhu, I was a junior DM student, or one time I was MD also. And with Sidhu, I used to have a very good relations, and I loved his talk, being a Punjabi, and we should share certain things which good among ourselves. The thing which I remember in the PGI was, my senior was Dr. Shahi. He was Director General, and I was doing MD medicine, and he was DM, doing the DM from the army side. Whenever the Dr. Wahi used to talk to him, he would never face Dr. Wahi, but he should give me a slip and say, talk to Dr. Wahi. And this is the bed number 62, no problem. 161 problem, 63, no problem, 63 problem. This is the problem, and say what we have done. But I used to face all the music of Dr. Wahi. And now I realize, Ravish, that no problem, even if he was firing me most of the times, but I still remember him. And I think we had a good time in the PGI, and I learned many things from Dr. Suresh. And I thought, as Dr. Kler said, we used to hale and hearty, we are going here and there. We are not studying too much time. most of the times we used to see Dr. Sudhe Kumar, Dr. Suresh and Dr. Girija studying most of the times. And we also used to learn certain things from them and find out the things which were more important to us. And there is always remember to from the PGIs that early morning CPC. I love that. Even if I go to Chandigarh many times, but if I have time, I always still go and attend 8 to 9 o'clock session in the morning and enjoy it. So that was a mortality meeting, CPC, morning, and clinical presentations are excellent in PGI. I hope they are still continuing that. And the cafeterias and food habits of PGI and the Chinese restaurant of the Hong Kong restaurant. I still remember, whenever I go to PGI, I go to Hong Kong restaurant in the evening. So this is how, that was my time at that time. And this is what I am continuing if I go to PGI.
Right.
I
And
wish,
the Friday
and I wish that, yeah, and I wish that PGI should rise more and more. And we feel very happy whenever somebody tells me that he has been trained in PGI. And we are very happy when the patient comes to us that he has gone to PGI. And in fact, we are sending so many patients to the PGI. And I'm so thankful to Dr. Kler, who has started PTCA activity in my medical college. No, of course, I'm retired, but we are continuing with his. He still comes to PGI Jammu, and he does the free service to the people of Jammu by doing pacemaker implantation, PTCA, not charging anything, which he can by doing. But he's a really gem of a human being. I admire him and I love him. This is another thing which is I have attached to Dr. Kler is he is my class fellow in my DM. His wife is my class fellow in my MBBS career. And they have got married and both of them are Padma Vibhushan. I am still very lucky to have a husband and a wife as my friends and class fellows. Thank you.
Mohan Lal is, Mohan Lal is a very emotional man. And it is always a great pleasure to deal with him. Many years back, we were in Saudi Arabia and we went to Taif to see him. And you have to believe me that Mohan Lal cried. He embraced us and he cried and he couldn't control his emotions and sentiments. So that's the kind of relationship we have with Mohan Lal. One thing, Jagan and Gurpreet, Girija, Suresh, I am thinking that when we talk about the alumni of IITs, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur, and this and that alumni, they contribute a lot to their basic institution IIT to improve the standards and this and that. I really don't think that our alumni has done anything substantially to bring the PGI anything better. At least I am not aware of that if anybody has done it. So I think PGI has a great alumni spread all over the world. There is no country where there are no PGI people. I think as a alumni, we need to do something for our institution to make it one of the best institutions in the world, not only in India or SAARC region, but in one of the best institutions in the world. So I don't know how to do it, and I would like all of your views and some direction in that direction. I am willing to do whatever I can do on my behalf.
Thank you.
One thing I have to say is the difference between IITs and our doctor medical community is, some or the other, their track record has been that they become brand ambassadors, right? We have got a potential to become brand ambassadors. Some or the other that needs to be taken up, and so that's why they go into those companies, whether into IT or whether into financial and this thing. So their value increases in a big exponential way. So that's how IIT Kharagpur, IIT Bombay, they have benefited at this thing. But we we doctors, pharmaceutical industry is dependent purely on us. So, but we have got that great worth. So, but somebody is making use of that, right? Same applies to the private sector, which has come into the healthcare sector in a big way, right? They are all dependent upon good talent coming from PGI, All India Institute or other institutes. But it is not the doctors or the staff who benefit a lot, but it is the management and the controlling company. I think so there we have to have some discussion on which we can promote our community to come up to that level. And I think so then bringing on to all these things presently into the PGI cardiology training, I feel that should be promoted in some way.
Yeah, Gurpreet, what is generally the situation in India, that let's talk about Medical College Patiala, where both of us are graduates. Gradually the standard of the government medical institutions has gone down. It's a reality, it's a pity, and I think we all of us know about it. Similarly, there is a decay in even PGI and All India Institute of Medical Sciences, if I am not speaking wrong. The only government institution, to best of my knowledge, which has kept the standards is, and I have a lot of respect for that institution, is Chitra Institute of Medical Sciences. I think they have a lot of committed people, and thanks to people like Jaganmohan and many others who have really kept the tempo of that place very, very high. So I really don't know how to help these our own mother institutions like even Patiala Medical College or PGI Chandigarh, if we can contribute something, do something to bring back their glory. That's what I think I'm thinking again and again, but I have not been able to do anything myself also.
Sir, there is one thing that I can request, that we have this master class on every 4th of Friday of every month. Do join us. Do tell us, suggest topics, speakers, because this is all a close group. And, we wish to, actually mirror it as the morning classes we had in PGI. So this is one thing. So keep your 4th Friday free from 8 to 9:30. Second is that you can, join us at India Live, the second day, 16th March. And almost 40 of us have consented to come there. Third is that, sir, we can, among us, we can, one way to help cardiology in India would be to generate data. Because that is one thing that we keep on hearing, that, India is not generating data. We are from different fields, different regions. We can, pull, come together and generate some kind of data, whatever we have, because at many places PGI has played a major role in generating data and registries and those kind of things. So this is one way. Maybe in those meetings we can pick up few other things on which we can really push up the banner of PGI.
I think I must give a lot of compliments to you to start this platform, and you were kind enough to call me to your institution, and we had a wonderful meeting. I think more and more interaction of PGIites in the either in the webinar form or in the practical shape can get many new things happening in a positive way. In fact, it didn't occur to me before, but I just called Diwakar Jain. I say, why don't you join the webinar? Even if your slides are not there, you can say something about yourself. Anyway, he was busy seeing some patients. And I called also Inder Anand. Inder is very close to me, and we are always in touch. Dr. Sapru is also pretty close to me. And I think on these occasions, we will, at the end of this meeting, we will give 5 minutes to one of these people to speak about our batch and this and that. I mean, they can tell all of our negative points. We are still willing to learn, and listen to our criticism. But it will be nice to have Inder or Dr. Sapru. Those are the living teachers, at least of my batch. I'm sure your batch has more living teachers. So one or two teachers on every show will add to the glory of this meeting.
It's a good point, Kler. I think it's a very good point.
So Dr. Sapru has today morning, sir, promised that he'll be coming to our meeting at India Live.
Very good. I think India Live is a very good idea, and we'll have our own dinner and comedy and that the thing is we are all. I tell you one thing that I don't know I have any time anywhere in the world if somebody tells me that I'm from PGI, so he is either my elder brother or my younger brother, or my child. For that matter, me and Sidhu and Jaganmohan, we have reached a age where we can call many of you as our children now.
Kler, since you say that, I was mention another story. In 2006 or so, I was in Florida to receive my FCAI degree and that fellowship certificate.
Right.
When I met Ravinder Kohli. I hadn't seen Kohli after, Kohli was our senior. I hadn't seen Kohli after the DM days. So I went and said hello to him and he was very pleased. He hugged me and everything. And I was turning around. He put some dollar notes into my pocket. Kohli, what are you doing? No, you need money when you are in US, Suresh. I said, Kohli, it's okay. I can look after myself. I had great difficulty in giving the money back to Kohli.
That's the kind of.
This is the camaraderie and the looking after the people.
Anybody who's senior, wherever you go for a meeting or a tea or a samosa, anybody who's senior, he is supposed to pay, not the junior guy. And incidentally, Ravi Kohli was with me just last month. He was with me and he met me. Yeah.
So I think we will invite Dr. Ajay Swami to
conclude.
Yeah, to conclude.
Yeah, time is running out.
Much as we would like this session to continue, it's really wonderful to see all our seniors and doyens in the field of cardiology in various parts of the world. You would not realize how much of inspiration you give to all of us, sirs and madam. I mean, it has been a wonderful, wonderful evening. And walk down memory lane, I see that we all have walked the same corridors and the same paths of learning that, so many generations have walked down. It's really wonderful to revise those. And there is no emotion that can, actually adequately summarize what all of us go through. It's wonderful to revisit those. And I think we must go ahead and make this a strong institution. At least twice in a year, we should try and make some PGI meet, either on the sidelines of India Live or on the sidelines of NIC or on the sidelines of CSI. And I think this should become a regular event so that we are able to take this from strength to strength. And both the other things we have discussed these earlier also, but I promise that we'll try and make some more attempts to make some kind of a spreadsheet for basic information generation. I mean, it should not be so difficult nowadays. We have already got a registered society thanks to Smith, who is probably the most energetic PGI that has come out for the last 25 years, from what I can see. As Samir says, Smith Baba ki jai ho. Thank you very much, sirs and madam. It's been a wonderful day.
Sorry for interruption. Sumit said something also very good and interesting, that the data collections. See, I am very open with any of the PGI cardiologists to share my data and to do some collective studies in electrophysiology or in interventional cardiology, because we trust each other, and I think combination of data can be more strong than individual data. So at least I am open for those suggestions.
No, sir, I feel potentially a PGI group is going to be stronger than CSI. As we spoke, CSI is based out of Bengal and it has certain other issues which are stuck. The name is CSI, but it is registered in the West Bengal Cooperative Societies. So that inherently limits the working out of that place. Since PGI is more central, I feel, as having a cloud-based kind of organization, we'll see what to do about it. It's a great idea and we'll see what to do about it.
Right.
And,
only writer I will say from the beginning is that we should do our best to prevent it being a political body. as CSI has become a political body and many
No,
other
no,
bodies
absolutely.
in India
Absolutely.
are political bodies. IM is a political body. So we don't want to be a political body. We want it to be a purely academic body.
Professional body. No, I think once it takes off, they say nothing is as powerful as that of an idea whose time has come. And I'm sure it will take off. It just needs a little bit of watering from all of us. So, but having said that, thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Smith. Thank you, sirs and madam. It's been a wonderful evening. And, it's my pleasant duty to say good night to everybody. And really wonderful to see you.
Sidhu Saab, Tarakan Saab, Sat Sri Akal, Assalamu Alaikum. Girija.
Okay, Girija.
Okay, thank you. Okay, nice seeing everybody.
Right, sir.
Good night.
Jagan.
Right.
Bye-bye.